Australia has been fortunate in one regard. No prime minister has ever been assassinated. But the office is far from free of tragedy. 3 Australian prime ministers have died while in office. 2 of these deaths were relatively uneventful, the result of natural causes. But the third? That story is anything but ordinary. It involves mystery, speculation, and a disappearance that has become legend. This video is about the extraordinary final chapter of Harold Holt, Australia's 17th Prime Minister, whose disappearance in 1967 sparked one of Australian history's most enduring mysteries. Harold Holt became Prime Minister in January 1966. He initially refused a security detail, believing it would distance him from the public. That changed after 2 alarming incidents in 1966. A sniper shattered his office window, and an assassination attempt was made on the opposition leader. Holt reluctantly agreed to a single bodyguard, but refused additional protection. Holt was a keen outdoorsman and took up spearfishing in 1954. He wore a wetsuit year-round and preferred snorkeling over scuba tanks. Colleagues noted his unusual endurance underwater. He would even practice breath-holding during parliamentary debate, but he was never a strong surface swimmer. Several friends expressed concern about the dangers of his hobby. His press secretary, Tony Eggleton, once warned him, to which Holt jokingly replied, "Look, Tony, what are the odds of a prime minister being drowned or taken by a shark?" An eerily ironic comment, in hindsight. On May 20th, 1967, Holt had a close call while diving at Cheviot Beach on Victoria's Mornington Peninsula. Distressed, he called for help and was pulled ashore by companions, conscious but purple and vomiting seawater. He blamed a leaking snorkel and remarked, "That's the closest I've ever been to drowning." Just months later, on his 59th birthday, he spearfished off Dunk Island. He chased a coral trout for 25 minutes before giving up, breathless. By September, he was receiving physiotherapy and painkillers, possibly morphine, for a painful shoulder injury. His doctor recently advised him to avoid strenuous activity, including swimming and tennis. Some speculate his judgment was impaired on the weekend of his death, either by stress, fatigue, or medication. But there's no concrete evidence that Holt took any medication on that fateful day. Sunday, December 17, 1967, was just another summer day. His plans for the day included a barbecue lunch and a swim at Point Nepean. At 11:15 a.m., he drove to Cheviot Beach with a family friend, her daughter, and 2 others. Despite the strong swell and visible currents, Holt suggested a swim and entered the surf. Only one friend joined him, but stayed in the shallows, later describing a strong undertow. Holt swam further out and suddenly vanished beneath the waves. Upon witnessing this, panic set in. Holt's swimming mate dashed to the nearby Army Cadet School to call for help. Soon, one of Australia's most significant search operations was underway. By 1:30 p.m., helicopters, police, Navy divers, and boats had joined the effort. But rough seas and strong currents severely hampered progress. After 18 days, the search was officially called off. Holt's body was never recovered. Theories and conspiracies quickly took root. Holt's biographer concluded that Holt drowned, either through exhaustion, a medical episode, or misjudging the surf. Others speculated he was attacked by a shark, stung by a jellyfish, or knocked unconscious by driftwood. Then came the more extreme ideas. The CIA assassinated Holt for planning to pull Australia out of the Vietnam War. That North Vietnamese agent abducted him. He faked his death to run off with a lover. Or, most famously, that he was a Chinese spy who defected by submarine, an idea popularized in Anthony Gray's 1983 book The Prime Minister Was a Spy, despite glaring factual inaccuracies. For decades, the absence of a body meant no formal inquest could be held. But in 2005, the Victorian coroner finally delivered a finding. Harold Holt had drowned while taking an unnecessary risk in dangerous waters. Still, Holt's disappearance remains unlike anything in modern political history. He is the only national leader of a major Western country to vanish without a trace. His death is strange as it is tragic. And so, Harold Holt lives on in history books and Australian folklore as the Prime Minister who walked into the sea and never came back.